I did not think that this was gonna happen, but here we are.
He said, girl, please call me back. I need you so bad. Please call me back. I need you so bad.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of my travel vlog, Tyra Travels in Colombia. This episode is gonna be a little bit different. I'm not gonna go through tons of footage like I did last time, but what I was able to do for this episode was to get some follow-up on the carnival and its origins. One of the members of the Carnival Corporacion, so like the broader organization that runs the carnival, reached out to me on Instagram because they saw like what I was posting, and they were like, oh, we'd love to do like a collaboration. I was like, you know what? It would be really great to interview some of the members who put on the carnival, some of the people in charge, and to learn more about everything that's happening from the perspective of the people who are running it. And then also so that I could kind of feel and experience and understand more the tradition and the culture around it, not just experience it and witness it while it's happening, but also get an idea of the origins. So again, this plays into my project called Carnival because the sounds and the feelings that I wanted in Carnival are hedonistic, pleasureful, ritualistic, earthly energy. It's not something from the divine realm. It's something that's very earthly, something that earthly beings do and participate in, not these angelic or divine creatures. And when I was creating the music, I wanted to really activate all senses. And that's how I felt when I was experiencing the carnival here. And as I mentioned, I think in the last video, like this was one of the craziest carnivals I've been to. I spent a lot of time in the last year exploring and going to different carnivals around the world. Some by sheer coincidence, like there just happened to be a deserted fairground when I was in Mexico, and I started wandering around it and getting inspired and shooting some totally off the cuff content that was just not planned. And they all have these different feelings, but I'd never been to one that's a week long and a centuries old tradition. And so this one was really special. So I went to the museum and I got a chance to interview the president of the Carnival Association, the mayor. I also got to interview there the creative director, which was really sick. I wasn't expecting to interview so many people. I thought it was just going to be one person. And the questions that I asked each of them were, what are the origins of the carnival? Do the specific events that take place on each day of the carnival have a special significance? And then the final question I asked them was, why do you think this carnival is important? Just before we launch into that section, I'll just catch you up on some of my other activities aside from this. So in episode 3, I'm going to show you more of kind of my daily routine here, a few different places that I've explored both in the town and in the outskirts. Every day is a little bit different. Obviously, I have chores just like any normal person, but I try to start every day in the studio. So right after I wake up and I have my breakfast, I come right to the studio. And this has been really special and new for me because prior to coming here, I was still working a part-time job. I was actually working 3 in order to be able to come here and also to just support myself as an artist and support myself as a person living in Toronto, which is a pretty expensive city to be in. So I found that I didn't have a lot of time left over to really prioritize my art. I found that it was taking a back seat, even though I was still pumping out so much work and still scheduling myself and doing all of that. It's just really hard to juggle when you have multiple competing responsibilities, which are tied to your livelihood in a way. And every day when I would go to work, it would just motivate me more when I was off the clock to dedicate time to my passion, to my career in music. That being said, though, there's nothing like having what I have right now, which is focused, dedicated time only on my art. I find I have so much more energy, so much more clarity with what I'm trying to do, and a lot more room for just the creative flow because I don't have the pressures of these competing interests and this competition for my time and resources. And as we all know, your energy is really finite and creating takes so much work. In order to create, you also need a lot of time off, time to just explore your surroundings, to think, to process what you're going through in your life, to write down your thoughts, to just live. That's how creators are able to then interpret their world into their art. So I'm just feeling pretty blissful with how this is all going right now. I'm hoping that I can plan to do some other artist residencies in the future and other collaborations internationally, because I find it really fuels not only my artistic and creative spirit, but also this kind of wanderlust that I have, or just itchy feet for traveling, or an avidity for new experiences, as I like to say. So that's just a little catch up on what I've been doing. After the carnival took place, I took some time to really relax and to still get settled here. And we did a little weekend trip away, which I'll show you guys in episode 3. So stay tuned to that. And if you haven't yet seen episode 1, that's where I cover the whole carnival with my personal footage and where I talk a little bit about my interpretation of what's happening, but also I touch on a few moments, but these interviews really add to that, or not even add to that. They literally explain what is all happening, what it's about. If you're curious still about the carnival, about visiting or whatever, you can also check them out online. They have a really great marketing team and social team. These interviews are all in Spanish. Also, my Spanish is conversational at best, but I understand a lot more than I'm able to speak. So ahead of the interview, my partner helped me translate my questions, and I really kept it simple. But for the sake of my audience who may be watching it in English or French or any other language, you can turn on the closed captions. So if you just click below here in YouTube, click on closed captions and you can see subtitles. And I also put on screen some of my translated highlight points of their answers to each of the questions so that you can still follow along and get a general idea of what the answers were. So without further ado, we'll launch into those interviews.
Hola! Hi everyone! I'm at the Museo del Carnaval de Riosucio, which is the official museum here in Riosucio for all things Carnaval, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the people who work so hard year after year to put on the festival. So come join me.
Exacto, pues acá nuestro mayor potencial dentro de la fiesta, dentro de la celebración, son los desfiles, y dentro de los desfiles se hacen unas puestas en escena con personajes que son como actores que se personifican con sus atuendos, con sus disfraces, de muchas temáticas que alrededor del mundo están pasando, problemáticas políticas, religiosas, y se hace pues como una crítica constructiva a toda esta situación, cambios medioambientales, la fauna y flora, muchas otras cosas que todos estos desfiles toman como propio, se personifican, hacen sus disfraces con base a ese desarrollo, a esa temática o a ese concepto, y ahí pues se desarrollan pues como todos los desfiles, que acá en el carnaval son como la esencia principal del carnaval. Y también se hace un desfile, o que se llama la entrada del diablo del carnaval, que es donde entra nuestra majestad que es el diablo que ustedes pueden ver acá. Este es el de la edición del año 2023 y este diablo pues hace su entrada triunfal recorriendo las calles del municipio hasta llegar hasta la plazoleta principal donde se ubica y pues ya puede ver a todo el pueblo desde su trono.
¿Y por qué cree que este carnaval es importante?
Nosotros en Latinoamérica y en el mundo pues siempre hemos marcado la diferencia de ser un carnaval auténtico, donde reúnen no solamente la esencia de lo que es el diablo, porque el diablo, el concepto del diablo como tal es un concepto diferente al religioso, es un concepto donde combinan culturas y etnias. Nuestro municipio es muy rico en etnias. Tenemos desde los indígenas, tenemos desde los afrodescendientes, tenemos también cultura campesina, etc. Entonces tenemos muchas razas, muchas culturas que al final es lo que construyen a nuestra filia del diablo del carnaval. Entonces, por eso somos diferentes, por eso marcamos, digamos, las pautas de las celebraciones en Latinoamérica y hablo también del mundo, es por eso, que nuestra cultura es muy rica en diversidad.
Gracias.
No, a ustedes, muchas gracias.
The carnival takes place every 2 years, which means that these people are working 2 years prior to the actual festival, and a new devil is created every 2 years. Now, the devil from this year, from 2023, was the biggest one ever created, and it sat right down there in the town square. And so it's really cool to be up here because it's a different vantage point than I've had all carnival. I was mostly like down here in the crowds of people, kind of observing it from the ground up. It's really beautiful.
Los orígenes del canal tienen que ver con la misma creación de nuestro municipio, la fundación, tiene un origen étnico, puesto que estos eran territorios ocupados por los indígenas, pero también tiene ese origen europeo cuando llegaron aquí a conquistar, a colonizar todas estas tierras. Y a su vez los europeos, al encontrar tanta riqueza orífera, tanto oro en Riosucio, trajeron esclavos africanos que vinieron a explotar las minas. Esas tres razas se fusionaron y de ahí surge de esa mesticidad, de esa unión de esos pueblos, la creación de Riosucio y a su vez la creación del carnaval. El carnaval de Riosucio es muy importante porque es un patrimonio cultural, oral e inmaterial de la nación. Es un carnaval donde se vive toda la parte triétnica a través de sus usos, de sus costumbres. Es un carnaval muy espiritual, lleno de tradición, de esa identidad nuestra, esas tres razas que a través de esa cultura se han fusionado y la hemos demostrado. Es un carnaval con una estructura propia, una forma distinta de ser, es un carnaval con una forma de hablar, de mirar, de ser, a través de una literatura matachinesca, porque nuestro carnaval es palabra de literatura matachinesca desde el comienzo hasta el final. Y por eso es tan importante, nos caracteriza siempre el verso, la literatura, la creatividad. El carnaval de Riosucio tiene esa fortaleza de que nunca repite cuadrillas, nunca repite disfraces ni letras, cada año es innovar, 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 y eso es lo más grande que tiene nuestra fiesta. Una creación permanente y continua del matachín riosuceño, de ese pueblo carnavalero que es el que hace la fiesta, porque la otra parte fundamental de nuestro canal es que es una fiesta popular. No la hace una junta organizadora, no simplemente coordinamos actos, pero el carnaval lo hace ese mismo pueblo. Muchas gracias.
He said, girl, please call me back. I need you so bad. Please call me back. I need you so bad.
¿Cuáles son los orígenes del carnaval?
Los orígenes del carnaval se remontan a la época de la conquista, de la colonia, y a los dos pueblos que dieron formación o que dieron origen a Riosucio. Si bien se registra pues como el primer carnaval hacia 1847, es decir, la mitad del siglo XIX, las raíces de la tradición se remontan siglos atrás a lo que tiene que ver con las celebraciones cristianas del 6 de enero, del 28 de diciembre, con la influencia indígena y con la influencia africana. Entonces podemos decir que el carnaval tiene una tradición de siglos.
Trouble is I got a fickle heart. Body's ready, but my lips won't.
Claro que sí, cada uno de los rituales del carnaval tiene un significado y hacen parte de la tradición que ha sido transmitida de generación en generación. El de cuadrillas, tanto infantiles como de mayores, el de la entrada de colonias, el de la entrada de Su Majestad el Diablo, el de diablos y faroles, el de disfraz suelto, el del homenaje al guarapo. Eso tiene una tradición que es muy importante y son muchísimos. Cada uno tiene como un aspecto simbólico, como un aspecto también sincrético dentro de lo que es el carnaval, dentro de lo que es la festividad, y por eso cada uno tiene igual importancia.
¿Y por qué cree que este carnaval es importante?
Es importante precisamente por las raíces que tiene, porque tiene un contenido patrimonial, un contenido ritual, un contenido tradicional muy grande que se ha transmitido de generación en generación desde hace mucho tiempo y que por eso mismo debe conservarse, porque significa como el legado de nuestros ancestros.
Right now I'm standing on the balcony where the carnival kicks off at midnight on Friday, which is the first day of the carnival. It's pretty amazing to be up here because on the first night I was down there in a crowd of people waiting for the parade to begin. And the announcers, the mayor and the president were up here kicking off the carnival, setting off the fireworks.
Can't take a break now. Wish I had the time for you to roll up. I don't want it quick, I want the slow start. I won't let you come unless I
Ella tiene una particularidad, que es la silla del diablo. Tiene una dignidad especial, por lo cual únicamente puede usarla el alcalde del carnaval. Es una silla hecha de tal manera y con tales símbolos que solamente esa dignidad puede usarla. La silla del diablo.
Yeah.
El calabazo es el lugar donde se almacena la principal bebida de Riosucio y el carnaval, el guarapo. Es a partir de este fruto donde se preparan y se almacena la bebida. El guarapo tiene un símbolo además ritual, puesto que representa la bebida de los ancestros y es precisamente heredado de esta cultura indígena de donde viene precisamente el calabazo. Recordemos que el carnaval es una unión de tres razas, de tres etnias distintas. El carnaval nace precisamente como parte de esa trietnicidad que gira en torno a la fundación de Riosucio y el surgimiento del carnaval. De cada una de esas tres razas heredamos diferentes elementos. El calabazo es una de ellas. La bandera del carnaval tiene un significado bien especial y es porque es la misma bandera de Riosucio con los tres colores, pero tiene dos cosas además: el diablo del carnaval y una china. La china es este elemento heredada también de la cultura campesina, indígena, con la cual se aviva el fuego. En lugar de terminar en un asta, como las banderas que tienen un asta en la punta para herir, esta tiene una china, que es para avivar el fuego de la palabra, del color, de la alegría, de la unión. Y es precisamente el abanderado la persona única encargada de manejar la bandera, de ondearla, En ausencia del abanderado solamente puede cargarla el alcalde o el presidente del carnaval. Entonces el abanderado es esa persona que tiene la función especial de llevar la bandera, lucirla y ondearla en medio de la alegría de la fiesta.
So I hope you've all enjoyed these interviews. I hope it's helped paint a broader picture of the carnival and its themes and its rich diversity, the rich culture, the rich tradition that exists here. If you haven't yet watched the first episode, again, you can go back and see some of the specific moments that they're talking about and how that translates into the manifestation of these traditions and these different themes. I just thought that this was super cool. Not only do they have a gorgeous office and a gorgeous space right in the town square, everyone was super friendly. Everything was super informative, and it really expanded my mind. It was really cool to also see the different symbols of the carnival and how those play a role in the culture and in the traditions, because I had been seeing them all throughout the carnival, and at times like I didn't really understand what the connections were or what they really meant. And this is just one carnival of many around the world. I know that there's a huge one in Rio. I know that there's in Toronto we have Caravana, which is like a Caribbean festival. There's still a line that can be drawn between all of these different cultural experiences, though they're entrenched very deeply in heritage and ancestral roots, sometimes being centuries old. They still have these common themes, these themes of this ritual, of this almost like exorcising of demons, but not like bad demons, just this catharsis, this outward manifestation. And I thought that was really pronounced in the festival here, because they're almost doing away with this puritanism of remaining good. They're like, let's just pull out all the stops and just go wild for this festival, for these few days. And I think it's really a healthy thing in the end, even though there might be some unhealthy habits that kind of come about. Once again, I'm here doing a 3-month artist residency program. It's the first of its kind, and my host here is a painter, so works in the visual arts realm. As you can see, there's some paintings behind me here. But me, myself, I'm a musician primarily, and a songwriter and music producer. Thank you guys all for tuning in, for listening to the interviews, for listening to me share what I've been up to so far. Please subscribe if you like it, leave me a comment, and I hope that you guys tune in for episode 3. Thank you.